Move day is finally here. We haven't got that much time to move 5 modular buildings from one site to another. Things get hectic from near misses to midnight finishes. Here is episode 2. Nice early start this morning. I'm feeling apprehensive, man. I am feeling a little bit nervous. A lot is on the line today. A lot is on the line. We cannot afford for anything to go wrong. We've got the whole modular office being taken apart. That's 5 parts. All the bolts taken apart, all the electrics, and we've got a 60-ton crane picking up every modular part, loading it onto extended articulated lorries, low loaders, and brought about 40-50 miles from Chesington to our new yard under escort and then put back together again. Today's a bit of a mad day, man, so fingers crossed everything goes well.
5 minutes later.
The security guard doesn't know about anything. He's phoned up the office, no one knows about anything, and he's refusing to let us in.
What's wrong with these people, man?
You really got to get onto someone because we've got the cranes here, the lorries are here, Silwood are here, everyone's here.
All right, let me call you back.
Yeah.
Hello.
Morning, Mark. Sorry to call you so early.
No, that's right, fella.
We need access to more lane and the security guy ain't letting my guys in.
And I'll phone them up now.
Thank you very much. Cheers, mate.
All right, cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I need everybody to be on point, including the gods. God, please look after me today, please. Of course, London and the M25 being the biggest car park in London, we're running behind schedule. We left my house at like 5:30, expecting to get there for 6:30, maybe 7, but traffic's put us back so we get there at like 8:07. This is so long. Like, I needed to see these lifts. I needed to see the contractors. I mean, lucky enough, everybody knows what they're doing, but can't stand traffic. I want to see that building. I want to see it being taken apart. They're like, I need to know everything about what is going on today, because when everything's done and everything's put back together, there's only one person who needs to know everything about that building, and it's me. So the fact that I'm running late now is just disappointing because I need to be there to see these lifts. Come on. Just pray for me today, bruv. I need this to go right, bruv.
It's going to go wrong, but you will be all right. Because it always goes wrong. It's going to go wrong, bro.
I asked man to pray for me, and he says it's going to go wrong, but you're going to be all right because it always goes. Because you always figure it out.
Bruv, you have the strength to succeed. It's going to go wrong because people are. It's going to go wrong. It's going to go wrong, but you will be all right, bruv.
Yeah, nice one, Daniel. Just pray for me anyway, please, yeah?
No, I can't do it, bruv. I know you're strong enough, but I know that it will go wrong, but you'll be all right.
All right, man. Thanks, bro. I'll catch you later, yeah?
All right, later, bye.
Yeah, just got to site. I'm gonna stick some PPE on, have a look at the unit, get a lid on, and try to see if we can get up and close and see how this thing's been taken apart. More importantly, need to try and get back to the original site to go and see how it's getting put back together and what's the placement of it as it gets put back together as well, because wherever this thing's going down and wherever it's going to be lowered down onto is where it's staying. So that is the mission critical part, as well as taking apart. I know these guys are doing an awesome job at taking apart anyway, but putting it back together again is the challenge. So, just looking around the building now, again, we can see insulation looks fine, but there are parts of the modular building that has got like damp and decay running all the way up through the unit. So it's probably due to a leak at the top on the roof there. We can see from before, when we got up there the other day, we could actually see that the roofing wasn't put together at the start very well. All along this back wall, there's damp. And why do you think that is, Mark? Matt. Matt. And obviously, where the leak has started from up there, it sort of worked its way all the way through the building and then all the way through into the plasterboard and into the boarding. So we're probably going to have to strip out a lot of this stuff here and up to the roof. So this whole back wall, pretty much all along the back end of some of these units, are going to have to be completely stripped out and redone. Hopefully it hasn't affected the flooring too much, but I mean, chances are we're gonna have to redo the flooring as well. I'm not gonna lie, this is I'm super nervous, man. To see these buildings in this condition, this is not how I visioned the move to be. I thought it was gonna be a nice, clean, take things apart nice and gently, and then get it gently onto the lorries and then slowly bring things through. But this is a bigger operation than I thought. I mean, I did think it was gonna be a big operation anyway, but now I'm looking at this all happening and seeing how these guys are working super hard at just getting the job done. Like, the biggest constraint today is time, as well as transport. It's time, and we've saved so much time just by having an early start and getting ahead of the day, and these guys are doing an awesome job. I'm just really looking forward to seeing all of the modular buildings put back together at the new yard, because I didn't prepare myself for this, man. I didn't prepare myself for this. I trust the contractors, I trust the professionals. They know what they're doing, they do this all the time. So there's nothing to worry about, but just seeing my building be torn apart into 5 sections, and then with the hope that they're gonna stitch them all back together again. The only thing that hasn't gone to plan so far is just the wiring. So the fact that all we have to do is have an electrician just rewire is not an issue. I was prepared for the damp in the walls, and I was prepared for us needing to put some new plug sockets in, maybe. But a grand scheme of things, it's not the end of the world. So these lorries have the availability to extend. Because the modular buildings are so long, the low loaders have to extend their trailers in order to be able to take the length of the modular office. So as you can see, he's extended the length of his trailer by a good sort of 2-3 meters in order to facilitate the length of our modular buildings that are going on. So not only do we have to have special trailers that are low enough to be able to handle the height as the modular buildings make their way through the highway, but the length of the building needs to be extra long as well. There's not many of these on the road, so we had to get a special contractor to come in, especially who has these specific types of trailers to be able to handle these exceptional loads. Just looking at what some of these tyre marks are doing when they slip off of these boards, there is no way we would have been able to get these lorries in and out of here without this trackway. Like, looking at it now, I mean, even the trackway is muddy. It's like there's sludge everywhere. To think that I thought for 1 second that we would have been alright saving that £2,000 on just ridding with the trackway. I'm so glad that I listened to Matt in getting the mats. Anyway. Thanks, Matt, for recommending the mats, because we definitely needed them.
And I don't know if you saw on the first wagon that came in, he was pushing this whole section back.
Yeah.
Because there was just no traction, you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, this whole section was being pushed back. I mean, where is it? I think it's just under here. It's lifting the mats. And that's because the two
But they've put two on top. They've stacked them on top because they couldn't get the
and
bend
then all
in
that
it.
happens, as soon as you put pressure on that side, it lifts up in the middle.
I mean, the good thing also is that they've bolted them together. Like, sometimes you just put them down, you're like, yeah, that'll do. But if they didn't bolt them together, they would have just slipped out.
Yeah, I've had it before. Well, I've seen it before where it actually flips up into the mud guards or underneath the front wheel.
Slips under?
Yeah, it slips under and flips up, takes out the diesel tank.
Yeah, no, we weren't
If
ready
they
for that,
ain't bolted, you're in trouble. But yeah,
so far so good. So far so good.
Yeah, it's 2 down, 3 to go.
3 to go. Yeah, that's it. Hey! So you know, when a crane makes that noise, it ain't really a good thing, bruv. It means that the crane's at its limit, so got to be really careful now to make sure that we don't overextend that boom. The further the boom, the more stress you're putting on the crane. So now what we're having to do is bring the lorry closer to the load rather than bring the load to the lorry to relieve any excessive weight that's not available to us because we can't extend the boom out any further. As you can see, precision is everything when it comes to these loads. If we just have a load that is even 3 inches or 2 inches further on one side than it is the other, you may have an unstable load. And as I mentioned, this is the heavier modular out of all of them. So it's critical that we get these loads right and that they're well balanced and it's well organised and it's well thought through. You don't want unstable loads when you're going through the highway. How do you feel it's going so far?
I think it's going pretty smoothly.
Yeah?
Was a little bit worried about getting them out, but everyone seems, yeah, it's all going.
It is going pretty smoothly. I'm so glad we took your advice on the mats, man. Like,
no chance. You never would have got in and out.
there is no way we would have got them in and out. It's me trying to cut $2,000 here and $3,000 there.
Well, it would have cost you a lot more because everyone would have turned up, got stuck, and then that's gone everyone out, and the cabins would have still been there.
And then we would have looked at another $10,000 or so.
Yeah.
Because everyone still needs to be paid.
Exactly. So we've done the right thing.
Yeah, we're getting there, man.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. You can always put our trust in G-Force. As always, G-Force sorting us out with the lifting and transports.
Anytime.
It's a bit of a different load though, isn't it, compared to trees?
Oh, definitely. But
what do you prefer, this stuff or trees?
If it fits on the back, we'll take it.
Yeah, I love that. Get it on the back and we'll get it out.
Follow that for now. Go on. Go on. Back over to your right.
Hey, that was tight, you know, that thing was slipping out. Oh my days, look at the mess, bro. If them tyres didn't have traction on this, oh mate, today would have been a different game, bro. I haven't even seen it yet, but from the way that that last crane was beeping on that last load, I have a feeling they're probably gonna have to move the crane a little bit more closer to the lift because, as I said earlier, the further out the boom is, the more pressure it puts on the crane and the less weight it can take. So the closer the crane is to the lift and the further the boom is, so the further the reach, the less weight it can take. So I have a feeling that they may have to move the crane closer to the lift so that they have more of a chance of being able to get that final 2 containers or the final 2 modulars out onto the low loaders. Yeah, as I thought, we needed to move the crane because the boom being on full extension is just too much strain on that load. So we're going to move the crane to a little bit more suitable position in order for us to be able to get the pick, lift the modular building, lift the last 2 up and get them out onto the back of the cranes. Now these legs help stabilise the crane, and each crane has 4 stabilising legs throughout in order for us to be able to stabilise the load. The further the legs out, the more stable the crane. Some cranes and some utes don't lift unless the legs are out on full extension. You tell him.
All the wheels should be off the ground,
because
that is part of the crane's ballast.
Right. So the crane is only able to be used once everything is elevated off the ground.
If the wheels is on the ground, you've lost weight, haven't you?
Yeah.
So therefore you've got the potential of the crane turning over.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
So it's got to be completely, and it's got to be level then?
It's got to be level, that will level it, automatically levels itself.
Yeah.
But all the wheels have to be off the ground because that is part of the crane's ballast.
Can you override it or not?
No.
It doesn't allow you to override it. So yeah, kind of. Yeah, you've had it overridden, isn't it? No. Let's see how organised this guy really is. Come, Jack. Inside this van, you can always judge a man by how he organises his van, yeah? Now, if his van ain't organised, don't trust that man, bruv. Never trust a man with a disorganised van. But this guy's van actually looks pretty organised, bruv. All of these straps are all rolled up, they're all in order. Each one of these straps have got lines on them, so you know how much each strap can take. I think it's per line is per ton, so if you've got 3 lines on it, that's 3 ton. So he's got all these 3 ton straps all down the bottom. Then you've got the ones with the 4 ton ones, they're all next to each other, all rolled up nicely, eyelets all facing the front. Look at that. This is a man, this man here is a man you can trust, bruvs. Look, he's got his 2 ton ones up there. He's even daisy chained. I don't know if he's gonna come. I don't want to catch me out. Look. You can trust this man, bruvs. He's daisy chaining his strops, bruv. You can always trust a man who daisy chains his strops. Very well organised. All his gloves and stuff all in one box. You can see all of his boots. He even puts his boots back properly. I've got time for this guy, man. Very well organised.
Going in.
1 hour later.
It's because we ain't eating. That's what it is. We're all getting hungry.
Yeah.
Hey, move.
Don't f***ing move.
I'm gonna throw you off, that's why I'm
Do it.
And then we have the final one. So this is the final section that we need to lift today. I'm not going to hang around to lift it. I want to head down to the other side. It takes us an hour and a half for us to be able to get there. But this is the final modular part of the 5-part building that we need to remove. So we're going to get packing up now. We're going to head down to the other side. We're going to let these guys tape up the side of this. So before this goes up and onto the back of a lorry, the Silwood guys need to close up the side section to avoid any sort of air pockets as they go through transit, but also to avoid anything from slipping out and falling out of the load. So yeah, let's get going. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for all your help. You've been amazing.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah, appreciate it. Bye, Andy.
Cheers.
Thanks for the lessons.
Yeah, no
Really
worries.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
And
good one.
we'll see you some other time maybe.
Yeah, you know.
Right.
See you later.
Let's go, Jack. The 4th modular part of the building has turned up. The 5th one's on its way. We're running out of light a little bit now, but I'm hoping that we can get this all done today. Like, I cannot afford, well, I can afford, but I'd rather not pay for a crane to have to come tomorrow to put the last one in place. But so far it's all good. What I do know is this truck got stuck on the way out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get you any content. I'll try and see if I can get the picture, but the whole front of the truck got sunk in. We weren't there at the site at the time, so we weren't able to film it, but you can see from the wheel just how covered this lorry was at one point. The whole front of the lorry just sunk straight in. Lucky enough they managed to get it out, and now we're working to a very, very, very tight time frame. The pads have already been placed, so the modular building should just sit perfectly on top and it should all be level, and then we bolt it back together. I know that the Silwood boys are coming back tomorrow just to do a little bit of tidying up and just to finish off the waterproofing and the roofing part of it. But the most important thing about today is to just get them in place, get them bolted together so then we can get out. So this is a laser leveling system. Silwood used this specifically for leveling out all of the modules in order to make sure that they have them absolutely straight across the land. So this little laser fires out a beam so that we can then use a leveling stick to know where and what heights things need to be. So when we grab that stick and we put it at a certain height, the laser will beep, and then we'll know whether we need to put more levels up or more levels down, or whether we're too high or whether we're too low. So I'll show you. So this is the laser leveling tool, and what you'll find is it beeps when you're too high or you're too low, and it tells the guys exactly what height the bases need to be. So you can see to the millimetre almost exactly what height to be able to put the pads down. So then when the crane eventually lifts the modular building onto these pads, it's going to be very, very, very fine tuning left, rather than us having to lift the whole thing off and then lift it back on and then lift it off, then lift it on and then lift it off and then lift it off. This just saves so much time. Final piece of the puzzle has arrived, bruvs. Come on. It's always the last one. You can always count on the last lift for the one to it. It's now 6, nearly 7 o'clock. It's 7:15. And because we've had the crane up for so long, apparently there's a fault with the Scania gearbox and we can't get the crane down. The crane is now on full extension and the vehicle can't be moved. So we've had to call Scania out. Lucky enough, they're just round the corner. Lucky enough, G-Force have a service plan, a top service plan actually. So they're on their way out now. Hopefully we can deal with the gearbox issue. So then we can deal with the PTO. So then we can deal with the crane. So then we can deal with the modular. So then we can get out of here. Right, so massive change of plan. Because we can't get this lorry moved, because the boom is on full extension, we're having to put the modular building back onto a low loader and drive that lorry all the way around to the other side of our site so that the other lorry with another crane can lift and put it into place from the other side of our yard. So it's a bit of a tricky one, but these guys seem to be putting in all of the stops to make sure that we get this job done today. And chances are, sadly, the guy whose lorry's stuck here tonight is probably going to be having to stay here for the night because he's now done over his hours of what he should be driving. So he'll be sleeping here tonight. Lee's probably going to be sleeping here tonight as well, who's the other G-Force lorry. The best thing about this whole job is no one's giving up. Everyone's pulling all of the stops out to make sure that we get this modular office put together, bolted together and watertight before the end of the night. And we've already come to, it's like 7 o'clock now, so we're pushing it. Lucky as well, weather is on our side. The weather has been on us. I mean, it started trickling down a little bit towards the last sort of hour or so, but it seems to have all disappeared. The wind's died down. We're going to put this modular office back on the lorry and then lower it down with the crane on the other end. Look how much chicken's left there, bro. Jesus Christ. You know, there's people out there dying, you know.
It's not mine, you know. It's not mine. Does it look like mine?
No, you'd suck the marrow out, wouldn't you? We're in, Rubs. Yeah! Got my team, Russ! Lovely. Oh, this is actually sick. It's finally here, bruv. It's finally here, bruvs. Come on. Jeez. Great, so it's now 8 o'clock on the dot and we've all finished. All of the modular offices are all now back in place. They're in perfect position. Unfortunately, the lorry drivers are over on their hours tonight, so they're gonna have to stay in the yard. I've got them a KFC, so hopefully they're all good. And they're used to sleeping in their cabs. And to be honest, I had a little peek into their cabs and I think they're going to be pretty comfortable tonight. But nonetheless, super gassed for today. It's all gone generally to plan. Everyone's happy, no one's hurt, nothing's broken. Yeah, it was a bit of a late night, but overall a success. So I look forward to coming back in the morning and going through and having a look at everything overall in the light. And in the next few weeks, get all these offices into condition that is like a Thor's trees quality. And you guys know what we're like. We don't do half measures, so.
One day later.
Oh, let's go over here. Okay, so we've made a start on the office space. We've completely stripped out everything we possibly can, including the desks that were here initially. There's a reason why we couldn't use the original desks that were in here, primarily because they were architects' desks, so they were a lot lower down, because as you can imagine, architects need to look over the top of the desks, they need to have their big sheets over. So we had to completely strip out all of the desks as they weren't at the right height of where my team need to be able to have. And also we've got our own desks, and our desks are a little bit more, well, our desks are a lot better quality than the desks that were here. So we've completely stripped them out. We've wiped everything down, cleaned all of the windows. We've put the LED panels back in the ceilings as well, ready for the electricians to start connecting up the fuse box. But generally, everything in here looks like it's coming into shape. If we move into this section, as you can see, part of the modular office, part of this module, we're going to call them bays. I think what we should do is we should call them bays, because I keep on saying modulars and then that doesn't make any sense, and I'm now confusing myself. So from now on, these are called bays. So we've got bay 1, bay 2, bay 3, bay 4, bay 5. There's 5 bays that make up part of the whole modular office, and this is bay number 2. So bay number 2, 3, 4 and 5 all have damp running all the way through that back wall, and we suspect it's because of a damaged roof, and the roof has leaked and come all the way through the plasterboard, and it's now got to a point where the plasterboard is just crumbling. There's nothing holding this together. I'm hoping that with some luck, the backing sort of main frame, the made wooden frame, isn't as decayed. So then all we'd have to do is dry it out completely and then put new plasterboard on. But there is a chance that if the support beams have been completely rotten through as well, we're going to have to replace that, and it becomes a lot more of a costly job. But so far, from what we can see, the wood that sits underneath isn't actually that bad, and it just needs drying out. So we've now got to go through the whole job of actually stripping all of the plasterboard, especially the damaged plasterboard, off of the frame and exposing the main wooden frame underneath to see what we've got to play with. Another really annoying thing that's happened when they were all transporting the bays from one location to another is, as we were really running tight on time, the operatives cut every single running cable that was running from one bay to another. Now, in hindsight, I would have liked them to have labelled each cable, and it's actually going to be really expensive way. It's actually going to be really tricky trying to connect up every single cable back. Chances are I might even have to just completely rewire the whole place. I'm hoping not. I'm really hoping not, because it can end up running into the thousands. But there is a chance, and I have to prepare myself for the fact that I may have to rewire every single bay to be connected to bay, like the electrician said the other day, which is bare annoying. Is it bad?
Well, it can be worse, but...
Can be worse. The Silwood boys have made a massive dent on bays 4 and 5, and they've exposed all of the back wall to try and identify where the leak has actually initially started from. And it seems like we found the point, which is the run-in between the woodwork and between the woodwork and the roof. There seems to be a clear gap where the water seems to be running through and falling through, and it's come all the way through the joists. So we've completely exposed all of the woodwork, and then we're going to let the wood dry. So these are the main beams, these are the joists that hold everything together. We're going to allow them to dry. We're going to run dehumidifiers in here and leave them in for 48 hours and hopefully try and soak up as much of the moisture out of the area as possible, so then we're not working on wet wood. So hopefully all of this section running along bays 5, 4, 3 and 2 will be completely dry, ready for us to hopefully get some plasterboard on here. And in the meantime, the Silwood boys are going to start on the roof to make sure that they can contain that problem and make sure that it doesn't keep on coming back, because we don't want to spend thousands of pounds repairing this whole back wall, putting all the electrics in, making sure all the windows are all sorted, for us to then be back to square one, which is a leaking roof. Wow, what a day. The building is finally here. It's on site, it's bolted together. I can't believe we finally got there. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe. And there's probably a button around here somewhere for you to click, for you to go and view some of my other videos, like our first ever vlog, or like the video that tells you all about the fire that we had back in September. Thank you very much for viewing, and I'll see you guys on the next video.